Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Village of Bartlett for the Committee of the Whole meeting for September 1st, 2020. I call this meeting to order, and again, please ask the clerk to call the roll.
Trustee Carbonaro?
Here.
Daney?
Here.
Gabrenia? Absent. Gansey?
Here.
Hopkins? REINKE?
Here.
President Wallace?
Here. Three items on our agenda this evening under Building and Zoning. Chairman REINKE.
Thank you, Mr. President. First item for tonight is the Tomart application, site plan review for proposed 25,000 square foot warehouse with a 4,000 square foot office component on a 5.8 acre site. And we've talked about this site before. One of the things that I liked about it was that I saw some flexibility from the staff in permitting the petitioner to forego that berm that really wouldn't do anything for anybody. Right. So I'd like to commend the staff on that. And beyond that, Ms. Grill, would you like to add anything?
Just that it's, they're asking for a site plan review. It's a smaller building in the park, only 25,000 square feet. I can show the site plan. Here's what the building would look like, the building elevations. And they are also requesting a special use permit for the outdoor storage of trailers on the site. The Plan Commission did review the petitioner's requests and conducted the requisite public hearing at their meeting on August 13th, 2020, and they recommended approval subject to the findings of fact and conditions recommended by staff. And I believe the petitioner is here via Zoom, if you have any specific questions.
Yes, I'm here.
Are there questions or comments from the committee?
No.
I have none. I don't have any.
I think that berm was, the berm was essential just because of the viewage from those residential properties, so I'm good with that.
All right. Okay. So then we'll forward this matter on to the village board for consideration?
Correct.
No objections?
None.
Okay. Thanks, Vince. So we've got our second item on the agenda is the Pulte Eastview Subdivision, which is an annexation, rezoning, preliminary final plat of subdivision, special use, and amendment to the Bartlett future land use plan for 29 lots?
Yes.
Is that right? Ms. Grill, would you like to add anything?
I'll just bring up the subdivision plat. It shows 27 single-family lots. And lot 28, shown here, would be dedicated to the Park District. Lot 29 is the detention area, shown here. A special use permit is being requested to allow for the retention area to discharge into the wetland buffer. And the Plan Commission did review the petitioner's requests and conducted the requisite public hearing at their meeting on August 13th. The Plan Commission recommended approval subject to the findings of fact and conditions outlined in the staff report.
One of the things I didn't see or I didn't catch here in the packet was a drainage plan, because I know there was a great deal of conversation at the Plan Commission about tying into drain tiles, which isn't necessarily the best option. Where are those drain tiles on the plat?
I'm going to let the petitioner, they are here tonight, and I think they want to introduce themselves and give a small, brief presentation, and I think they can elaborate on that.
Good evening. My name is Patty Bernhard, and I am the attorney for the petitioner Pulte Homes, LLC. I do have also, I believe, online, Rob Getz, I believe, is online. He is the vice president of Pulte. Anthony Falkowski is with SEMCON, who can probably answer your question that you have. And then Greg Sagan with Signature Group, he is the landscape architect. And I wanted to point out that we're really excited to be coming to Bartlett and bringing this project into the village. The drain tile, I think that there was a question about the property owner to the west about tying into the drain tile. The village engineer has sent us a comment back. That was our first plan, was to do that, and the village engineer came back and said that they don't want us tying into the drain tile because they don't know what the system actually entails, what kind of shape it is, and whether it actually drains properly. So we are not actually going to be tying into the drain tile system. Instead, what we're going to do is the discharge is going to discharge, and we've incorporated a spreader, which hopefully will spread that discharge out so that it will dissipate into the land a little bit differently than normally when it would just come out of a single drain. And this is Rob Getz, actually, who just came in with Pulte. So, and I do have Anthony on the line if he would like to add anything to that about the drain tile. I don't know if he can hear me. Anthony, are you online?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Is there anything you wanted to add with regard to the drain tile?
Yeah, we added a level spreader to the discharge for this facility, and with that, we were working with the property owner to the west to kind of alleviate the flow directly over land. So we put that level spreader in to dissipate the flow and infiltrate some of it into the ground in that application. Which is located right where the cursor is on the screen.
How reliant is that going to be? Because I mean, if we have some horrendous storms or whatever, there's really no place for the water to go except back into the residential area.
Well, this site discharged direct, or the runoff was directly to the north west corner and the southwest corner. So we're following the same kind of discharge locations, and we're actually substantially reducing the flow in this proposed condition.
And you're reducing the flow by virtue of the detention facility, right?
Yeah, we're providing detention for our development required by DuPage County and the Village of Bartlett. So we're meeting the stormwater ordinance in both cases with these this design.
Thank you.
And the association is going to be responsible for maintaining all of the stormwater facilities, and there'll be a backup SSA, the usual kind of stuff. So nothing out of the ordinary there.
That's correct.
Good. Thank you.
Good. I have no questions. Looks nice. How many units again? I didn't read it in here.
27.
When we first talked about this in 2018, 2019, I think there was some discussion about building further west. Is that still on the table? Are we not doing that? Are you able to speak to that?
I can't speak to that at this point in time. We have no contract with the property owner to the west.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. So then we'll forward this on to the village board.
I have a question. How long will construction take for the entire subdivision?
Got a pinch hitter here.
Hey, Rob Getz, Vice President of Land Acquisition, Pulte Homes. So we would be, hopefully, we get our vote on the 15th. We'll start land development activities the week after. We would intend to have the model home starting in November, December. It takes us about 4.5 to 5 months to build a model home. So you go December, January, February, March, April, probably April or May, we would be grand opening this community, which is a great time to grand open a community. So we would have our first folks moving in. If we sell our first homes in April or May, again, it takes about 4 or 5 months to build a house. So June, July, August, September, October would be our first move-ins. We're expecting about 2 homes a month. Conservatively, I think we'll do a little bit more than that, but conservatively, we would say 2 homes a month. So it'll take us, approximately, a year after that to build through the community. So, a year after our first move-ins, which would be October of 2021. So end of the year 2022, we would most likely be finished here.
Okay. And And then how about, is there going to be any other crossing? Like, because it sounds like it's a very family-type community. The high school's across the street. Do people have to go down to Army Trail to safely cross? Or how are they going to be going across Petersdorf?
Something that came out of the Plan Commission actually was the request that we put a crosshatch and a crossing across Petersdorf right at the entrance to our community, the high school. So we did add that to our engineering plans, and we will be putting a crosswalk across at that location.
Is that a stop sign? Or how it's just walk?
Just a painted crosswalk.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you very much. We'll forward this on to the village then. Village board.
Thank you for being here.
So finally, we have the True North proposal and petition for site plan review, text amendment, special use for a truck stop. Ms. Grill, what can you tell us?
The petitioner is requesting a site plan review for the True North Truck Stop Establishment. This is at the southeast corner of West Bartlett and Route 25. They are also asking for text amendments to the zoning ordinance to define a truck stop establishment, add truck stop establishment to the special use list in the B4 Community Shopping District. The Illinois Gaming Board permits truck stop establishments to obtain video gaming licenses, and the petitioner would provide video gaming at this location if approved. They are also requesting special use permits to allow an automobile service station, a truck stop establishment, outdoor sales, and to sell packaged liquor. This truck stop would include a 5,000 square foot convenience store with 8 pump islands for passenger vehicles and 4 pump islands for diesel trucks. The building would be constructed with stone and masonry and ephes with metal canopies. And the petitioner has agreed, as you'll recall, to wrap the fuel canopy columns with the same brick materials to match the convenience store building as requested by the staff and supported by the Plan Commission. If you'll recall, the last time you saw this plan, the staff and our traffic consultant had concerns with the curb cut located closest to Route 25 at this location. And the petitioner has actually revised their plan and agreed to a right-in, right-out with a barrier median as requested by the staff. So we're happy to see that. They've also requested a variation to reduce the number of trees required in the interior parkway along West Bartlett Road and 25. The petitioner agreed to replace 2 small ornamental trees with 2 large deciduous shade trees along West Bartlett Road. A bike path and small berm are proposed along the north property line in accordance with the West Bartlett Road corridor plan. And the Zoning Board of Appeals reviewed the variation and text amendment request and conducted the requisite public hearing on August 6, 2020. The board recommended approval of the text amendments and the variation based on the findings of fact outlined in the staff report. The Plan Commission then reviewed the request for a site plan and special use permits and conducted their requisite public hearing on August 13, 2020. The Commission recommended approval of the site plan and special use permits subject to the conditions recommended by staff, the findings of fact, and then 2 additional conditions. The first, which would require additional landscaping be installed within this median here along the west property, along the east property line. And then signage shall be posted indicating truck idling is prohibited between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And the petitioners are here tonight in person, and I think they would like to make an additional statement or 2.
Yes, my name is Ryan Howard. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of True North. With me this evening is our CEO, actually, Mark Lydon, as well as Lindsay Lydon. They're both owners of the organization, as well as Lindsay's our Vice President of Development. We also have our environmental expert with us, landscaping expert, and our engineering person. So we'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Just wanted to address a couple of things. You know, we showed our intro video during the last time, so hopefully most of you remember that, and that was kind of our intro to who we are, so we won't go through that again today. Also, one of the topics that has been discussed numerous times is traffic, and our use doesn't really generate traffic. From a residential standpoint, a passenger car standpoint, there are a few trips from very local that are new trips to the roads, but most of that we're trying to get in way of traffic that's already there. When it comes to the trucks on the roads today, we generate very little new truck traffic. We are not a major truck stop that has showers and lube facilities and truck washes and things like that that may bring additional trucks off of their current path to our facility. We're simply, as you might call, a pump and go. As it's defined by the state, it is a truck stop, but it's not the truck stop in the typical nature of a lot of competitors within that truck stop industry. We're more, as I say, the pump and go. We're just trying to get in the way of traffic. We don't create a lot of new trips as it relates to commercial truck traffic. The other thing that we've spent a lot of time on in the Village Board as well as the Planning Commission, but Board of Zoning Appeals, showing the project and all the aspects of the project. The one thing that we haven't spent any time on that I just wanted to leave you with this evening is some of the tax revenue that we generate. We do it in quite a number of different ways. Well, obviously, we create new property taxes from the facilities that are built. There's income taxes and things like that, state motor fuel taxes. But what I really wanted to focus on is the taxes that come right back here to Bartlett. And as I understand the tax code of the 6.25% state tax, 1% of that comes back to Bartlett. And then there's also a 1% tax that comes to Bartlett in addition to that, so essentially 2%. And that's on motor fuel as well as our in-store sales. So the projected, there's one other, and that's a food and beverage tax of 1%. And some of the items that we sell would qualify for that as well. So in those three areas, we would generate roughly $140,000 to $155,000 per year in sales tax revenue that comes back to Bartlett. Additionals go back to the state, but that's what comes back to Bartlett. In addition to that, there's a Kane County motor fuel tax, and realize that doesn't come to Bartlett, but it is still part of the county. And that's roughly $106,000 worth of motor fuel excise tax to Kane County. In addition, from the gaming revenue, the municipality across the street from us today is getting $40,000. That's being South Elgin, is getting $40,000 worth of revenue, and that's straight from the Illinois Gaming Commission numbers. That's what South Elgin's getting out of that facility today. So obviously, we probably won't be able to replicate another $40,000, but I would expect we'll take at least half of that and then generate some new in addition to that. So that's kind of the tax picture as it relates to Bartlett. We'd be happy to answer any other questions you have as well.
Thank you. Roberta, last time we talked about the construction of the bike path and there were some issues. Are you able to give us an update on that?
The only issue is the actual connection across 25.
Okay.
So staff found out 2 weeks ago that IDOT is not, they have pulled the road resurfacing and the ADA improvements from Lake Street south to Stearns from their multi-year plan. So we've approached the village administrator, and staff is currently drafting a letter for the mayor's signature that we hope to also have South Elgin join with us to send a letter to IDOT requesting them to possibly take another look at this, put this back in their multi-year project. We also are working with the developer of the site on both sides of the street so that we can make this connection.
Okay. Because I know that that's something people have been talking about for a very long time, is that connection. Thank you.
I have a question for the petitioner. In other areas where you have built a truck stop / station like this, have you had it where you've built something where you were the only business and then have other things gone in around it? Does that, or can anyone say, like, does it drive any other businesses to come in?
Well, certainly. I mean, we typically, build in new growth areas. So, sometimes we come in first, sometimes other people come in first. But certainly, I think that we will spur activity within the area. I know that's one thing the developer, when he did the deal with us, was counting on, is that, when we built this facility and we built it, he knew we would build it in the right way and make sure it was aesthetically pleasing and fit within the area and everything, that would generate additional economic development within the area, because he still owns the rest of the property that's undeveloped.
Do you have, like, an example of one?
Of where we've done that?
Yeah.
Most of those would be in Ohio. Here in Illinois, we've went into more mature areas so far in Illinois. We only have 9 locations right now that we own and operate in Illinois.
And then how did you initially identify this location?
I'm sorry?
How did you initially identify this location?
We had identified the location because the location in South Elgin, we knew there was more demand in this market area than was being served by just that location. It becomes quite crowded at times. And so, we seek this out. There were some issues. We had it under contract at one point. There were some issues with the, I can't remember the name of the, slips my mind right now, that there was an issue with the way the property was designated. That's since been relieved, and so we re-entered a contract with the developer on it.
Is this particular property or lot in the TIF district?
Yeah, it is.
Have we seen any inquiries or heard any inquiries about other developments along Route 25 in the general area? Without getting too specific, if they're in their infancy?
Not recently.
Okay.
We have had some interest, yes, but not since COVID.
Okay. Thank you.
There was a lot of talk on the Plan Commission, I guess a little bit of talk regarding this pork chop. I don't know if that's the technical term. Somebody asked a question, I didn't see that it got answered. How hard is it for people to make, go against the grain and make a turn out of there the other direction? Are there different, qualities of pork chops you can put in there to make sure that nobody can turn left?
The commission wanted to make sure that this was not a mountable median, and this is a barrier median.
Barrier.
Yes.
Okay. Well, from my understanding, and I understand what the people's concerns were, but from what I've read, there's 2% additional traffic at the most. So what that does is it says the traffic isn't going to increase from my understanding, the traffic, if there is truly only a 2% increase, if that, the traffic won't increase the safety or decrease the safety because there's not going to be any increase in traffic. There's no additional odor because there's no additional traffic. There's no additional sound because there's no additional traffic. So without those 3, I don't see that there's any, I'm pretty confident that trucks aren't going to come from 90 and come down and find this place. It's going to be whatever truck traffic is on there.
Right.
So we'll just be able to capture some of that revenue. So I totally understand what the residents are saying about, I'd rather have this, I'd rather have this, I'd rather have this there. We always talk about those things. I don't know the lady that was here talking before. We push for every type of business to come into these corners. And the realtors here today, Dean, you could probably say how many people you've tried to get into that corner and nobody has. I mean, that might alleviate how long that's been for sale and how many different places you've tried to move into that location.
Sure, I'd be happy to address that. Dean Kelly, 612 South 5th Street, St. Charles. Look, we're excited to have Ryan and Mark and their group. They're going to build a high-quality project. We've had a couple other similar uses look at it. Just didn't work for them. I think their timing is good. You know, there's some additional residential that's going to go in on the South Elgin side. They're building townhouses right now across the street. There's another single-family home project just west of the Prairie Path, so that's probably a total of, I think, 320 houses. We have Blue Heron to the north, and we're about 60% done with Blue Heron, but we'll have additional businesses there, I hope. I have lots of RFPs out, proposals out. Nobody's pulling the trigger, but we expect some good activity there. And when this gas station goes in, it's a nice-looking project. That will certainly help facilitate some interest. In fact, I got a call today from somebody that heard about it, was interested in the other 3 acres next to it. We have obviously the school that's going in behind our office, and then that'll leave us with a 6-acre parcel in between that we hope to get some retail or business type uses there. But certainly the one right next to it along West Bartlett, I think we'll get quite a bit of activity, especially when the construction starts.
Good. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I just reiterate, I think the turning point for me is the fact that the traffic won't increase. So my biggest concern was, you know, the safety, the smells, the fumes, the additional problems with roads. But when you consider there's no proof that says it's going to increase truck traffic, then it seems like a logical answer that we should move forward on this.
What's the time frame for the project?
So obviously, the next thing we would do is apply for building permits, and we assume that we would have those sometime in the spring, and that's the time that we would utilize to build it. In Ohio, we can typically build them within 120 days. Up here, it takes a little longer, so we're looking at about a 180-day project schedule.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments from the committee?
I just have one more small question. What are our, ordinance on idling, like truck idling?
Yeah, I saw that in the, you guys had agreed to limit the hours of truck idling on the Plan Commission notes, right?
That would have said, okay.
Yeah.
They did.
So that'll be limited as far as truck idling is concerned.
Yeah, so no idling between 10 and 6 is, I think, what we had suggested, and then the condition was asked for, and we're fine with that.
Yeah, okay. Very good.
Okay.
All right, so we'll forward this along to the village board for final vote. And Mr. President, that's all we have for building and zoning tonight.
Thank you, Chairman Reinke, and that is it for this evening's Committee of the Whole meeting. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion to.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Daney, seconded by Trustee Carbonaro. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Carbonaro?
Yes.
Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Reinke?
Yes.
We are adjourned.